here and Mark Stark, and we are here for episode 5 of What Great Agents Do in Time of Crisis. Mark, take us away. You're in front of me anyway. So.
All right. Okay. And right where I'm supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I have to start off by thanking everyone for your feedback and additional questions. Even if it's after our session, you have no idea how much that helps me create great content, because I'm doing it off of absolutely what you're asking about and what you need. So today is all about that. Now, we also have some time that we'll open it up for questions for everyone as well. All right. So first, virtual open houses. If you don't know enough about virtual open houses, I've seen a zillion emails go out by our VP of Marketing, Maria Hill. However, feel free to reach out to her and her team if you have any questions on virtual open houses. Now, next, there were questions on virtual showings and physical showings. First, really quick, a virtual showing, if you're great at virtual open houses, I promise you, you're an expert at virtual showings. They are virtually identical. So to get comfortable with virtual showings, all right, even if you're not doing virtual open houses, I would go through that exercise, and I know it'll help you on virtual showings. Now, physical showings. There were some questions about physical showings, dealing with questions from clients, and certainly how do we deal best in the environment we are with physical showings. And Rick, you had some innovative ideas along these lines to start, so please share.
Okay, so obviously the first way you can do a physical showing is if the house is vacant. That's an easy one. Okay, you can go over and show that property, no problem. Second way is and if you listen to Dan Mum's, we did one a couple days ago on Facebook. Re-listen to that. Dan has some really good ideas too, and that is, if you're in a home in a tract housing and a development and so forth, you can actually with a virtual, especially with if you have really good pictures or a virtual showing, you can actually have them write up a contract subject to viewing. All right, and I know agents right now that are still getting 2 or 3 offers on the property after the house goes on the market. Okay, and whoever's the most committed, that is the benefit right now. People that are most committed are willing to do what it takes today. And then the last way I would say is if with a seller that the home is occupied, especially if they have kids and so forth too, you can have stipulations. I know people that even have addendums put together that they send over to the showing agent, have them sign, has complete instructions like boots on the front, booties in the front, and what exactly you're going to be, don't touch anything. There are instructions involved, okay, to show the property, to make sellers feel comfortable, and obviously that's kind of important today.
All right, what two key things that I just want to reiterate of what Rick just shared. All right, writing offers subject to the showing. Everything can be done. The only thing that's held off is when they see the property. Real powerful. And 2, okay, understanding the parameters of clients, buyers and or sellers. In that example, it was a seller. Okay, it could be buyers as well of, hey, here are the rules to show my property. And it might be following rules of a buyer, okay, saying, you know what, I want to look at the property, but this is what's important to me. So cool on both avenues. I want to talk about the next aspect of dealing with overall showings is inspections and walkthroughs. And, I've heard from numerous sales executives that, the inspectors, by their request, are saying, look, let us do our job. Let us go into the houses. We'll inspect the houses. We don't need anyone there. Beautiful thing. No clients. Don't have to worry about, distance because there's no people in the house. And the inspector could get the job done. But let's focus on walkthroughs right now. And I think that's really, really important. And here's an aspect about walkthroughs. Look. We need to provide clients choices, and clients need to make a choice. So some of the questions that have come back from sales executives is, we're never going to get around a client finally making a choice to do something. Let me give you some specifics around this. Buyers not being comfortable, okay, to do their walkthrough. You know what, I want to buy this house, but I definitely want to be there for the walkthrough, but I don't want to be there now because of what's going on in the world. All right, So it falls to us to give those clients choices, okay, and ways to make them feel better. One is, if they're a purchaser, rehire the inspector, or rehire a inspector, or someone that is a trusted professional to do the walkthrough. So you know what? You're not comfortable being here, but here's another avenue that you can abide by the contract, close on time, and guess what? Have a professional protecting your interest as they go through the property. That's one avenue. Another avenue is, look, we're doing it now. You can use FaceTime, Skype, okay, Facebook Messenger, Google Hangouts. Remember, download the app on that and maybe others. The reality of is that you now, just on a simple one, FaceTime, can go around, do a walkthrough. Your client's not in the house, but they might as well be, because they're listening to everything, they're seeing everything. You can stop, you stay as long as you need to at any one system until the client's absolutely comfortable. We've got to be ready, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, is we're creating this new normal. And in that new normal, you're going to find innovative ways that to make your client feel comfortable and still get the job done on time. Anything you want to add to that, Rick?
I was going to say, even back to the showings, even for a second. Well, two things. First thing is, back to the showings, you can FaceTime, you can Skype, you can actually walk through. I mean, people were doing this before we had this issue, showing the home, okay, by FaceTime and by Skype. The second thing is everything you're saying, Mark, is, if I'm working with a buyer today in this market, I want to make sure that I have a buyer-broker agreement signed, because we're talking about above and beyond here. We're talking about fiduciary responsibility. Everybody, if there's ever been a great time to implement that into your way of being, it's now.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. Question?
Diana Geoffrion said WhatsApp is also a great app when you don't have an Apple phone.
There you go.
App, WhatsApp?
WhatsApp,
baby.
Okay, so there's numerous technology out there that can help us be virtual, and the goal here is, are my clients comfortable? Is everyone safe? And I'm getting the job done, and I'm getting it done on time. Next, I want to talk about virtual signings, okay, for closings. First off, you need to speak to your escrow company on exactly what they're doing. Because I'll tell you right now, some of this is in flux. Some are using in-house signers, and they're doing physical signing, and they're following the CDC rules, and they're doing distance, parameters, and all that, but they're still doing actually and only physical signings. Some are doing third-party signings, where the client doesn't have to come into the office. The signer is going to them. And it doesn't mean they're going to their home. You can have a third-party place that everyone agrees to meet, that you're all comfortable to sign these documents. Okay, and last, a lot of these companies are moving to a virtual overall signing opportunity. Not everyone is there as of yet, but I promise you this much, they'll get there. This is where the industry's going, and so we'll have that flexibility. I will tell you this, and again, this goes to the new normal. Please don't make the mistake of saying, okay, so now the world's going to do it all this way forever. It's not like that, okay? It's going to be a combination. The new normal is going to be a combination. It's not going to be or. Remember, we live in an and world. It's going to be this, and that is an option. Hey, this came up. Okay, then you have this as another option, but it's not going to be one or the other. We'll have these options for clients to use. I had some questions come in, again, still about Sphere and past clients. And something simple that came up is people said, you know what if you're calling your Sphere, but you haven't been able to connect for whatever reason? All right, they're busy, they've got a lot on their mind, and they're not calling back. Two ways that you can deal with this, which I think both are phenomenal. One is, don't ever forget about the personal note and the power of sitting down and writing a personal, hey, listen, left a couple messages. I just wanted to make sure, only reason for me calling was making sure that you and the family were okay. All right, hope everything's great. If you get the chance, totally, no worries either way. Here's my cell, give me a ring whenever you're free. You can do it that. That's the core personal note. Some of you more from a technical standpoint, If you're going to do this in an email, which some of you say, you know what, Mark, I'd like to do it in an email, that came through, no problem. I would write in the subject line, personal note. Personal note. Just put it right here. Personal note. Okay? And you know what? They're more apt to open that up and see that it is a personal note and it is from you. And that's a beautiful thing. All right. Next, lots of different questions regarding what the government's doing, what subsidies are there for independent contractors, and I'm happy to say, all right, that on Monday at 1:30, okay, our CFO, Todd Knight, as well as Darren Welsh, will be doing a webinar to help you best understand what the government subsidies are all about and how you can access them if you're trying to do it. Okay? So that is 1:30 on Monday. Okay? Info will be coming your way. It's another reason why you should be opening up, okay, the company email, because I promise you, and it's not only this, we've got new webinars coming out so often, and I know it's a lot of information, but there's a lot going on, and our goal is to communicate well and often. So please open up the emails. You'll see when different webinars are happening. This one, I'm telling you right now, there was a lot of questions on what the government's doing with different subsidies for independent contractors, 1:30, Monday, April 6th. All right, I want to end here before we do some questions on just a few facts or I should say few questions that are coming up, and I want to reiterate, all right, the answers to these to let you know what's absolutely working. One, facts over opinion, bar none, are working, all right? The more people have questions, the more you're able to put your opinion to the side and share actual facts of what's going on. You know what? I know the market was busier last week, but I know it's slowing down this week. Let's look at the real numbers. Let's look at what's actually happening. Facts always win over opinion. All right, creating your new normal. I told you, I just wanted to mention one more aspect of this. Each one of you will have your own new normal. All right, please know this, it will be a combination of different things. There's no wrong or right here. You're taking the best practices overall from all these different ideas. Let's face it, some of the ideas that are coming up right now would have been great 3 years ago. All right? Just because we're accessing them and using them now doesn't mean they weren't great prior. So let's take all these great ideas, put them in a combination, and you create your own new normal. That's going to be for all of us company-wide, it's going to be for you as an individual, and it's certainly going to be for every human being that's dealing with this situation.
And Mark, too, just to throw
Go
in there
for it.
too. Also, you know, you have the perfect amount of time to do that right now too. You know, my little term, habit replacement. In other words, we have at least 30 days of this lockdown left, and it takes about 30 days to create a new habit. So whatever habits you need to create, now is the perfect time to do that. By the time we get to the end of this, you'll have new habits created, which it will stick with you. Because, you know, as Mark's been saying, there's gonna be some new habits, some new disciplines, some new ways of doing business once we get back to the floodgates opening.
Yeah, and if you listen to Gito Blofari, okay, which is our CEO of HSF Affiliates, okay, you know, he talked about the power of routines. And I have to tell you, having your routine that you stick to on a day-to-day basis that has to do with work and non-work, okay, is so important. Do not let yourself flounder. Which the next point really ties into that, and that is what you focus on expands. So I have to tell you, if you're focusing on the challenges in the world today, you will expand challenges that you're dealing with. If you focus on solutions to the challenges that are going on, guess what? You'll have more solutions, you'll move forward, and you'll keep, okay, stepping your life and your business forward. What you focus on expands, and what you think about absolutely matters, okay? And please, let's not tell ourselves a lie that, well, I'm positive, I just always have to talk about this because it's part of the stuff. Wrong, all right? You can make a conscious decision not to speak about anything that is not productive and doesn't support what you choose to focus on and what you choose to talk about. I had to throw this in because it's my mantra, okay? Clarity and consistency will set you free, all right? You need to be clear, okay? Absolutely clear on your direction. Even if your direction is switched or you switch it, I promise you, clarity is a superpower. Even when you're going in the wrong direction, when you have clarity, you see it sooner and you can make adjustments to that. And consistency is key. We talk about the DRC, your daily revenue commitment. It's a must right now. Even though there's different activities that you're doing and they may not move as quickly to dollars, you're building that pipeline and you're creating a win for the very near future.
And even in today's world with everything changing, you still need to have remember the math? You need to have the math and you need to be talking to a certain amount of people even though the conversations have changed. You still have to have that DRC, which is the number of conversations you have every day.
Yeah, I love it. And last, but certainly not least, and I don't want this last item pulled out of context. There were questions about this, and I really want to explain it. First of all, in business, diversification, in investing, diversification makes sense. Well, would it make sense to think about diversifying ourselves in the business we're in? Absolutely. Look, this is a terrible situation that the world's going through. But the reality of it is there's going to be some real aspects that happen because of it. One of those is we are going to see an uptick in potential short sales and REOs down the road. There will be people who don't get their job back. There will be people who can't potentially sell the home, okay, prior to it being foreclosed upon. I do feel we will have a vibrant market and a lot of those homes will get sold and not go to REO. That's not the message. The message is for those of you who have expertise around the short sale side or the REO side, pull out that that box with the cobwebs on it, start looking through that information. And here's where it can help you in two ways. One, just having the conversation. Letting someone see you have that expertise and you being able to talk from experience lets them know if this were an issue with not only themselves but someone they know, you're the expert that they can choose to talk to. All right. And secondly, if you want to diversify your business and say, you know what, I don't think it's going to be a big percentage, but whatever that percentage is, I can now help, be it those banking institutions, I can help those individuals, whatever the case may be, is because guess what? I have that expertise as well. And due to this scenario and the coronavirus, we are going to have more foreclosures than we're having today. Okay, with that said, let's open it up to any additional questions. And I have to say, while they're looking that up, love the questions even coming in after our event each time, so it's beautiful. Yes?
Okay, we'll start with comments on Rick's page. Thank you all for watching. We have, like the camera being closer. Good job, team. That's from John Ingram. Thanks, John.
You're welcome, John.
Okay.
We have hi ladies from Michelle Horowitz.
Wait a minute.
Hi guys from Michelle Kubiak. We have good time to talk. This is from John Ingram. Good time to talk about how not to expose agents to liability as they get asked to bend rules and do extra things. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a great point. Listen, this is the time you can be asked to do things that you know is not appropriate or you should not do. Guess what? Don't do it.
Right.
Just don't do it. And I promise you this, someone might ask you something and they want to accomplish X, and there's another way to accomplish it doing it right. That's why there's options. And be it that they didn't think of that option that is not only safe and appropriate and gets the job done, that's your job. You're the professional. So there's nothing wrong in not only asking somebody else, okay, to say, how would you handle this, what to do? It's what these, okay, Facebook Lives are all about as well. But again, I promise you, just because someone doesn't have the answer, there's an answer out there to be able to facilitate it.
And no one deal is ever worth your license, ever.
Amen.
A comment from Mackenzie. She said, I took this time to get certified with CAR, and in short sales and foreclosures, they are offering 30% on classes right now too. That's in California.
Wow.
Beautiful. Love it.
Cheryl Cordy said, we really appreciate these weekly times spent together, learning great tips to apply to our business. Thank you for going above and beyond.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Michelle Thomas, how do we connect with REO vendors to build relationships and go after that business?
Okay, that is, first of all, first step is I would go to your manager, okay? And this is not something that's easily answered in this venue, but I promise you, if they don't have the answer, now they can go in search of and talk to different people, and we can get some information to you, if that's what you're interested in doing. So absolutely.
Neil Gatton says, so thankful for you. This is on Rick's Facebook page. So thankful for you and your personal leadership, Rick Berube and Mark Stark. We need you. Stay safe.
Woohoo!
Are you staying safe?
We are staying safe.
I love his things about friends yesterday too. That was great. You know what it really boils down to in this environment is, do you have a fixed mindset or do you have a growth mindset? Because if you have a fixed mindset, everything that's happening is only bad. If you have a growth mindset, it means you're open to the possibilities to do business a different way. So think about that.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Corrine Peterson, what is the current fall through rate?
It is
Ooh, good
different.
question.
I will say it is different for every market and every area. There is absolutely a fall through rate. I will tell you this though. You know, what's interesting, what we're seeing is we'll see transactions drop out and they're immediately put back into escrow.
Right.
Be it a buyer or a seller. So it's hard to get the specific dropout rate because they're coming off, all right, and then they're going right back in escrow. Keep this in mind. Inventory is still very tight because you've got a big group of consumers that, from a seller standpoint, that is saying, you know what, right now, I'd rather leave my property off the market. Well, all that did is tighten up inventory more. But we have seen an increase in fallout. Okay, not dramatic increase.
It's not huge, no.
No, it has not been a dramatic increase, but absolutely, we've seen transactions come in same day to be back into escrow. So.
Maria Martin asked, what's the best way to get market stats on a weekly basis? The MLS?
Yeah.
One, search MLS. Anything that I would recommend too, because I work with him constantly on it, and he's constantly working on stats. That's Forrest Barbie, our corporate broker, and he works on the stats for all markets. I will tell you, some stats, depending on how the MLS works, can be more difficult to get than others, and it really just depends on the market. But feel free to email or call Forrest, and he is the stats guru. He keeps me up to date on what's actually happening. Again, you know, some of this stuff like fallout rates depends on how many transactions are in SkySlope, when they're put in SkySlope, and different aspects. And you know what? Sometimes they're not all put in exactly when they should be, and that makes certain stats tougher to get.
Read his blog too every week. Forrest's blog is awesome.
Speaking of REOs and short sales, Ryan Lara asked, hello, Mark and Rick. Do you have any tips regarding how to stand out to REO short sale asset managers?
You know, everything starts with a relationship. And I will tell you, let me give you some factual aspects of how people built that rapport in the past. And again, we're in this environment, but I'm just giving you facts. They traveled to the bank to meet, okay, the powers that be. Something different today. Maybe you can't do that physical travel, but let me tell you something. You can certainly be persistent. As always, and I would say this in the REO aspect of it, is stickability is more important than ability, okay? I will tell our brand, okay, the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services brand, all right, will be a powerful support because anybody who wants to do that business will want to use a quality organization to do it. And I'm not talking down on any other aspect. I'm just saying it will be a feather in your cap, specifically if you don't have grand experience in that realm. Some people, if that's what they've done their whole lives, certainly, okay, they have an edge up. But if you haven't, it's a great opportunity utilizing the brand and stickability, finding out who you need to call and stay on it and do not give up.
Okay, we've got lots of questions. Thanks, guys. Nate Hall asked, best answers for buyers trying to lowball.
I think that's I'm hearing that as well. Okay, number one, get true stats. Look at what's actually happening in the market. Here's where your opinion, number one, don't even give it. I won't even go down that road. I would say, you know what? I don't want to guess. Let me get the stats of what's actually going on, okay, and give you that information. You can check out where the prices were. Did they adjust? What's selling? What's not? And if it is, and there is an adjustment in an area, great. I'm glad you know it, and now your buyer knows. I'll tell you this much, even if there's an adjustment and it is down, okay, your buyer might be from here to here, and the adjustment is from here to here. Okay, so you need to have the facts of record. If you have that conversation without facts of record, my opinion is you're chasing your tail.
Plus, if you do a buyer consultation over the phone or FaceTime or Skype or whatever, and you go through the whole process with them, usually those types of people don't make it to the end anyway because they're just looking for a deal. But the serious people will go through the process, has been my experience.
Okay. Another question from Derek Biesmeyer. What messaging should new agents use to initiate their farm?
You mean to start a farm?
He actually said your farm. What messaging should new agents use to initiate your farm?
Well, I think it's the same one that Mark's been saying. You call them and you check in how things are going. If you have a farm already, if it's a new farm, then I would use, like Mark's talking about, stats in a property in that neighborhood with the just listed script. Always start with recognizing what's going on today.
Yeah.
But remember, the people that are moving are impressed you're working.
Yeah, and keep this in mind too. Don't forget these simple rules because it's about them. Everyone's into hyper-local, okay? They're concerned and they have questions about what's happening in their world, not just a world and not just the world, but their world. So keep it very specific to them and what affects them, and you'll end up building that rapport in that geographical farm. One other point that I do want to bring up, which ties into a couple of these questions, is please know in this environment, another thing that's key, and you want it anyway, but now this gives you some springboard to get it, and that is, if you're working with a buyer right now, please make sure, okay, that you've got more information on that buyer, okay, that you know that they're absolutely qualified. Think about it. If less people, okay, need to be in a house, and I'm working with different people, I want to work with the most qualified buyers, the most serious buyers, and how do I ensure that, or how do I test that? Well, guess what? I do my buyer's interview better than I ever have. I make sure they talk to a quality lender and get pre-approved, okay, for the mortgage. So now when I come into a house, I've got the best possible chance of getting that. And I'm being as productive, okay, and as efficient as I can be, because I'm not just working with because I got a call. I'm doing my homework in advance. We should do that anyway, but in this environment, it's absolutely necessary.
Okay. Diana Joffrin, statement then question. Drive-by appraisals. Many lenders may require the inspection report as a condition. Sellers may want to consider inspection before listing to avoid value issues. This may also help their home to be more attractive to a buyer. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, again, I think listening to your client, number one, truly listening, giving them options, and if that's one of the options that they want to have an inspector come in and look at the property, move forward on it. I really don't think that that's a problem. Know this, I'm not a big fan of appraisals without an offer, okay, because there's too much freedom and flexibility. Remember, appraisals are not an exact science. Okay. They're an overall opinion.
Yeah.
And so that being an opinion, I want a offer connected to that, a real buyer. Yeah. And I've seen that there's issues that can come up when you don't have that. Also, definitely with the appraisal, but also with the home inspection. If you're having a home inspection thinking that the buyer is going to take that one, that's not the best presentation to the seller. You're doing the home inspection, so if anything shows up on it, you can fix it before it sells, so when they do the next home inspection, it's taken care of. That's really why you'd want to have one done today. Correct. And as we all know, if a buyer sees something, it may not be a big issue, but it's a big issue to that buyer, and they're going to, the cost in that buyer's mind is going to be bigger than it really actually is most of the time to fix a certain issue. So I think it's good business and it's professional is you helping those clients fix those items so a buyer never has to see them, never has to get concerned about them, because guess what? They're already rectified professionally and fixed.
Aaron in California says for people in California, Stephen Thomas does amazing Facebook Live videos twice a week with all the market updates. I would highly recommend watching him. That's Stephen Thomas.
Okay, on statistics. Love it. And the more, again, real statistics you have, and they're fluid, so they continue to change, but that's great advice.
No question.
Okay. Thanks for your questions. Keep them coming. This gives us, again, our content for later shows. But I have to say this. I want to close by saying this today. Your thought process and how you see what's going on in the world today, I'm going to be a broken record on it, so get ready. It is so very important. Here's my advice. Get clear on your direction, where you want to go, business and in life. Get your routine set up to support that, and that's it. Stay focused on where you're going, all right? And regardless of what the whirlwind is bringing us, and trust me, it's bringing us a lot of stuff, if you can stay true and focused on your direction, I promise you, you have the best chance of reaching it. Appreciate everyone's time today, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.